The Eagles travel to Dallas to play the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. Jalen Hurts' injury status still up in the air, but I'm here to tell you why it may not matter, as the Birds can still humiliate them in prime time. What is going on, everyone? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly, your number one home for Eagles coverage. Be sure to hit the like button on this video to help push the content out, and subscribe to A to Z Philly on YouTube so you do not miss any of the upcoming shows. Today we're back. Eagles traveling to Dallas to play a game that once had a lot of magnitude, and then in the last week, Dallas goes out and loses to the Jags. Jalen Hurts suffers an injury, and now it may not be so grand, but I'm here to tell you either way, whether Hurts plays or not, why the Eagles still may be able to scratch this out. We'll get into a little preview of it, and we'll talk about what was said and give you the latest updates on Jalen Hurts' injury. I do want to correct what we had put out yesterday in that an Eagles reporter got it wrong. You know, there was conflicting information. It turns out Jalen Hurts has a right shoulder sprain. That is the final confirmation from today. We saw him get landed on by the Chicago Bears defensive lineman, and he got up, he grimaced. He said today that he knew he had some type of injury, and right now, let's keep our fingers crossed, it seems to be that we may have avoided disaster, but we will get into all that. We need to start with the comments from the head coach, because Nick Sirianni finally talked on the manor today, and here's what he had to say. Nick Sirianni says, quote, "I don't put anything past Jalen Hurts. There is a chance he could play this week. Nick says Jalen heals fast and came back from his injury faster last year. He had the ankle injury. Came back, led us to the playoffs, did the whole nine, and he was just fine. He was just fine." Nick says we'll have a plan for Jalen and one for Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania might be in full effect. We will get to that. You never know. Maybe Jalen's body does heal faster. He's in great shape. He's a great athlete. Maybe he does heal faster and comes back and plays. My first impression off the bat, I do not think he will play. If it was up to me, if Jalen is not 100%, I would go out, rest him this week. All you have to do is win one of the final three to clinch that number one seed. You need that number one. You have to get the home field. You have to get the first round bye. I would play Jalen against the New Orleans Saints, try to win that game, and then give him 2 weeks of rest, right? Against the Giants in week 17, and then give him the rest in the first round of the playoffs, obviously, because we have a bye week. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it all flows. We'll see. Maybe he does suit up this week. You never know with Jalen Hurts. And, you know, a lot of people talking about him now. A lot of people talking about him. It's very interesting. And Brendan Deek puts this out on Twitter. He says the Eagles went from 1-point underdogs against the Cowboys to now 6-point underdogs after the Hurts news. And it's funny, he even dropped in the MVP race. And that's kind of contradicting to all the narratives out there because, you know, if he is that important, right? If the Eagles are now going to lose by this much, and now, you know, a lot of other things going on here, it's very interesting, right? Is he a system quarterback? That's what everybody out there is trying to paint him to be. And everybody's talking today about, are the Eagles now concerned, you know, about their long-term success? Well, if you can plug in any other quarterback, why should we be concerned, right? Well, that's the interesting thing. People are going against their word, and it just shows. It shows the flaws. But anyway, back to Jalen Hurts. He spoke today. I was very impressed listening to how he once again deflected all self-praise. You know, he just kept saying the team, we'll be fine. We'll get through. He said, I'm the Eagles quarterback and I'm never going to run from that. And, you know, everybody has a responsibility. Everybody's feeling bad. I love how the kid always takes accountability, ownership, and he is really becoming that leader. He says here today, quote, "I'm feeling fine. We're keeping this business as usual. Definitely a chance. I'm taking it day by day." So he said that he's feeling good. Maybe this is just a tactic to keep the Cowboys interlocked and engaged. And even more on that, he says, quote, "We are going to go to Dallas and find a way to get a victory." That is the confidence I like to see from Jalen Hurts, from your franchise quarterback. Even though he's young, he comes out here and he keeps everybody intent and he keeps everybody focused. He says it doesn't matter whether I play or Gardner plays or whoever plays. We have a good enough team to go out there and get it done. And it's true, right? Even though Jalen Hurts has been so fantastic this year, the Eagles have a complimentary running game. When they use it the right way, they have a great defense who is actually playing better than Dallas's defense right now. Every part of the Eagles, every facet, even special teams has stepped it up tremendously. Why not? Why not? And that takes us to our other point. Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania could be back in full effect. How about this? Nick Sirianni was asked about Gardner Minshew on the WIP show today in Philly radio. He says, quote, if he has to go, we'll have 100% confidence in him because he can ball. He's a winner, and that's all he knows how to do. Now, I actually went to the Week 17 game last year, Gardner Minshew against the Cowboys backups, as both teams are already in the playoffs, and yeah, he did not perform well. It was brutally cold, though, I will be honest. I think it was like below 10 degrees, and it was very, very interesting, right? There was still a lot of energy. Everybody was hyped up, even though the game didn't matter. Minshew didn't play his best ball, but I want to take you back a little bit before last season when Jalen Hurts missed the game against the New York Jets. What did Gardner Minshew do? He went out there and he balled. As Jeff Kerr says here on Twitter, Gardner Minshew started a game for the Eagles last year when Hurts was injured. He went 20 of 25, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 133.7 rating. I will never forget that video of him fist pumping with his dad near the buses after the game. He was hyped up, man. He was pumped. It was a great thing to see. And when you look at the career stats of Gardner Minshew, you start to realize, I mean, yes, the numbers are deceiving a bit. He hasn't won a lot of games, but he was with the New York Jets, who weren't really like a surplus of a team, right? And look at this. 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 6,000 career passing yards. He's not a scrub. He's not just any other backup. He's not a Chase Daniel, all right, or an A.J. McCarron or a player. No. Gardner Minshew can come in and make some football plays, and how crazy would it be? I mean, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical here. How crazy would it be? How sweet would it taste for Gardner Minshew to go into Dallas on Christmas Eve and spoil their Christmas? And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody expects the Eagles to win. All the pressure is now on Dallas to keep that hope alive. Obviously, they're going to probably make the playoffs, but just to try to keep that hope alive and not allow the Eagles to clinch in Dallas. How sweet would it be if Gardner Minshew goes out there and wins this football game? I'm just here to tell you, man, if the Eagles run the ball and they control the time of possession, right? And the Eagles come out here, maybe they pick off Dak Prescott in the first quarter, maybe get a big hit, force a fumble or something. You never know. You never know what could happen. And honestly, I actually feel pretty good because I do think this Eagles team is that good. And I think Gardner Minshew is not going to turn the ball over. I think Gardner Minshew is going to play within himself, not try to launch everything downfield, not try to get too big. And I think Shane Steichen will learn, especially from this past week, and cater the game plan to the right strategy. And everybody's been talking for the last 24 hours about Jalen Hurts, and everybody's questioning, should Jalen Hurts be running this many times per game? Should he be running 17 times in a football game? Well, that's another question to answer for another day. I think, like I said yesterday, it's part of his DNA, so he has to do it. But maybe you can be smarter in certain situations. But bringing that into this game, guess what? You have a 1,000-yard rusher. Now, you don't want to get him hurt either, obviously, but you have Miles Sanders. You have Boston Scott, who I feel is underutilized as well. Kenny Gainwell. The Eagles have weapons all across the board. There's no reason they can't come in here and go run for 200 yards. They've done it multiple times this year. They even had a game, obviously, where they ran 300-plus yards. They were a historical running offense in the second half of last year. They have the same weapons. They have a great offensive line. There's no reason the Eagles can't come in here and Gardner can just make a few plays, get us in the end zone a couple times, and the Eagles come out here and spoil. It would be the best thing ever. Dallas Cowboys are frauds, okay? They have looked like frauds. They almost lost to the 1-win Texans, and then this week they choke a 17-point lead. They lose to the Jaguars in overtime. Shout out to Doug Peterson. Look, they're not playing their best football right now. I know the Eagles didn't have a good game this past week, but prior to that, prior to a cold environment where it was just a weird day, 6 games in a row, they put up 30-plus points. The Eagles are playing their best football right now for the most part, and they're 13-1. Why not try to continue that, make it 14-1, and clinch the number 1 seed, and then take that deep breath? Hey, maybe it could happen. We will talk about it more as we get into this week, but I want to know your thoughts. Are you confident that Jalen Hurts could play or has a chance to play, and are you confident that Gardner Minshew can step right in and lead this team to a victory against the Cowboys? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like always, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.